In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the front brake hose on this GMC Yukon. Let's get started. Take a 22mm socket and remove all 6 of your lug nuts. With those off, remove the wheel. Now with the wheel off from the backside, we can pinch the brake hose off. What this is going to do is restrict the flow of brake fluid as we work. Now, of course, I wouldn't do this to a new brake hose, but since this is what we're replacing, I'm going to, because it'll make things a whole lot easier. Now with an 11mm socket, remove the banjo bolt that holds the brake hose onto the caliper. And with it broken free, we shouldn't have a whole lot of brake fluid coming out. Now whatever was in the caliper will already be, as you can see, coming out, but the hose shouldn't continue to leak. Okay, take this off and set it aside. The banjo bolt will have 2 copper washers, one on each side. The inner one usually gets stuck, so what you have to do to get it off is grab some pliers, pinch it, and spin the bolt out. There's the bolt, save that, and here's the copper washer that I just removed. Inspect the bolt to make sure it's in good condition. Mine is brand new, so I'm good to go. Follow the brake hose up. You'll see that the ABS wire secures onto the brake hose bracket, which we have to remove. Therefore, we have to remove the ABS wire retainer. Pull this off of here. Now a 10mm bolt holds this bracket on the control arm. Take this off, pull the bracket to the side. I'm going to put this bolt back in just so I don't lose it since it is very small. And that leaves us with the brake hose right up here on the line. Take a 13mm flare nut wrench. I recommend a flare nut wrench because it grabs onto one extra side as opposed to a regular open-ended wrench. And break this free. There we go. Now once you do break it free, you can totally just use an open-ended wrench, which I will do because it is easier. It's just that to get it to break free, you're better off with a line wrench. Now as this unthreads, fluid will come out of here because the line obviously is not restricted. It's just the hose that is pinched off. So I'll just keep that in mind because you'll need a collection bucket to go here, and we'll have to move pretty fast once this is broken free. So at this point, since it's not leaking yet, but this is mostly off, I'm going to pull this retainer off. Just use a pry bar and get it to slide off of here. This is what locks in your brake hose on this bracket. Get the brake hose to break free, just like that. Now you can finish spinning this off of here. There's the line. And like I said, fluid is coming out. So now we do have to move fast. Now take the new brake hose and slide it through. Get this fitting to sit on here and seal up. Now the brake hose does have a particular direction that it fits into this bracket in. So make sure you follow that. It has a little notch here. The notch has to face towards the driver's door, just like that. If you're on the passenger side, it would be the passenger's door. But that's the only way that it'll actually fit in. And at this point, I know it's not fully tightened, but it did fit in here. So I can put this clip back in to lock it in place. Use a small hammer, finish tapping this in. And now let's just tighten this line back up. Do not pinch the new brake hose. So this is why we have to work fast, because fluid is actively dripping out of the end of it. Okay, that's snug. Just gonna get the wrench to seat again and give it just about 1/8 of a turn extra. There we go. That's nice and tight. Get the brake hose bracket resecured on the control arm and put the bolt through. Once it's lined up, snug it up and resecure the ABS wire onto this bracket. Take your hose as well as your banjo bolt. I put on one brand new copper washer. The washers should be provided with your line, or hose I should say. Stick it through, and then on the other side you're going to want to put on another copper washer. This should sandwich the line or the hose right in between the 2 copper washers, and then start this onto the caliper by hand. That way you make sure it starts on smoothly and does not cross thread in any way. Once that's on, we're going to bottom this out and torque it to 30 foot-pounds. That's it right there. If for some reason you can't torque it, give it about 1/3 of a turn after it bottoms out. Basically, you just want to crush these two copper washers, and that's what creates the seal between the hose and the caliper. Now, pull the boot off of the bleeder screw, use a 10mm wrench, crack this open, and do a gravity bleed. This consists of letting gravity pull the fluid in and push the air out. Once we're done with that, you're going to want to do a full manual brake bleed. To begin your manual brake bleed, make sure that your brake master cylinder is topped off with clean fluid. Then you're going to want to have a second person in the car pumping up the brake pedal as you open and close the bleeder screw. So after a few pumps, have them hold pressure on the brake pedal and open up the bleeder screw. At this point, air and fluid will come out. Once the pedal has reached the floor, close off the bleeder screw and have them pump up the brakes again. After 2 to 3 pumps, have them hold pressure on the brake pedal once again and open up the bleeder screw. Repeat this procedure until no more air comes out of the caliper and you have only clean fluid. Once you get to that point, close off the bleeder screw and top off the master cylinder with clean fluid to make sure it's full. Let's get the wheels back on. Put on all 6 of your lug nuts, and then in a cross pattern, torque them to 140 foot-pounds. (140 foot-pounds) in a cross pattern. Here we go. And it's always a good idea to double check them. This time you don't have to go in a cross pattern though. All right, now take it for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.